you look at the spec sheet of a modern smartwatch, it sounds like the best invention in the world. A device that lets you see any message in an instant by flicking your wrist, never miss a phone call from friends or family, something that tracks your steps and reminds you to go out and do more, something that tracks your sleep, tells you how you should feel in the morning, whether you should have a rest day or whether you shouldn't, tells you how many calories you burnt across the day, allows you to put all of your workouts onto Strava. Sounds amazing, right? Well, it sounds good. I found the actual opposite to be true. So I'm going to look at some of the reasons why I decided to delete my smartwatch and go back to a traditional style of watch. First up, we've got notifications. You can set your smartwatch so that it receives notifications from WhatsApp, phone, Instagram, TikTok, whatever you want. Your watch will tell you when you've got a notification from it, which seems great because it means that you get your latest access to any news that comes out, any messages from friends, family. You can see it immediately. The problem is it becomes overbearing. And I was finding as I have a conversation with my partner Lydia or with my parents, and my watch is buzzing, and I keep looking down at my watch, and I can tell that it's pointless shit that's coming through. But the person I'm speaking to gets annoyed by it, but I've basically become a slave to my watch because I'm kind of obsessed with, oh, what is it? You always need to know. There's almost like a feeling that you need to know immediately what message is coming through in case it's important, despite the fact that you might be with friends or family who get enjoyment out of you being present with them. And then you're not quite switched on. If you do get a message from somebody else, you're then thinking about it while the person that's in front of you is talking to you and you're not listening to them. So I found that aspect really, really grating, and it actually made me feel like I was a slave to my watch. So it wasn't very long before I actually turned off notifications to most apps and left a select few on. But every time you turn off a feature of your smartwatch, it becomes less smart and it takes you away from the reason why you got the watch in the first place. So I'm not saying that some of them aren't important. If you want a call from like friends or family in emergency, for example, if you've got ill parents or you've got an ill sibling and they need to be able to get hold of you, fine, it might have some usage. But think realistically, if the percentage of the messages that you receive on a daily basis, how many of them are so important that they require you to read it immediately and have the option to reply? It's probably almost none. In a year, if you're waiting for somebody to meet up with you and they need to cancel, fine. But even if you waited another minute before you checked your phone, is it going to make a grand deal of difference? Probably not, and it just stops you becoming a slave to your phone. That's your watch, I should say. The second thing is that I've been trying to generally overall reduce the amount of screen time that I have. If you look at all the data at the moment in terms of mental health degradation in comparison to screen time, it's dramatic. All the data points to the more time you use your phone, screens in general, there is a proportionate decrease in the quality of your mental health. Now, having a watch on your wrist all the time that gives you notifications, again, on the face of it, bad pun, seems good, but it just increases screen time. It gives you less time to be present, less time to be mindful, less time to live in the moment because you're constantly getting input from somebody else or another app or another notification. And a lot of the time you'll read something on your watch and then pick up your phone to deal with it. So as somebody that's trying to reduce screen time as a way to make myself feel more energetic and be more reliant on slow dopamine from things that are harder to achieve, rather than going on my phone all the time and getting quick dopamine from things like Instagram and Facebook, it was just drawing me more into my phone. And I initially thought when I got it that it's going to actually reduce my screen time on my phone, but if anything, it made it worse. So that's another reason why I was getting rid of the smartwatch. Next up, we've got sleep tracking. Now, I'm actually now in a very fortunate position where I get to go to bed and wake up at more or less the same time every day. I work from home. I'm not a shift worker anymore. I go to bed roughly between 9:30 and 10:30 at night, depending on what I've been doing. Wake up between 6:30 and 7:30. So yeah, I get a lot of sleep. But even so, I was becoming a slave to my HRV. So HRV is called heart rate variability. And it's a measure for how essentially well rested you were overnight. So if you've got a smaller HRV, you're typically less well rested. Heart rate variability is the distance in time between the beats of your heartbeats, basically. I can't remember the exact science as to why it's important, but basically the bigger your HRV, the more rested you are, the lower it is, the less well rested you are. And I'd sometimes wake up in the morning feeling, I feel pretty good. And I check my watch, my HRV low, you should rest today. All right, good, I feel all right. And then it puts thoughts in your mind, oh, maybe I shouldn't go to the gym today. Maybe I should finish work early so I can rest more. And it got to the stage where I was like, why am I letting a little device on my wrist tell me how I should package my day? I'll decide how I feel. If I wake up in the morning and I feel good, I'm going to do the things I want to do. I'm not going to be a slave to my watch. And if you actually look at the data for a watch's ability to actually determine how well you slept, it's actually not very accurate. They're not as good as they think they are. Therefore, you might wake up feeling great, you actually did sleep well, but your watch data, which isn't very accurate, tells you didn't sleep well, and therefore you then completely change the way that you function throughout the day. For me, that was a final nail in the coffin. Another thing on sleep with the smartwatches is I was finding that if I ever woke up in the night for whatever reason, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, I would just instinctively press the button on my smartwatch, light it up so I could read what time it was, but I'd just instantly put white light into my face. Even if it's on dark mode, it still puts light into your eyes, which wakes you up. And so therefore, what's the point in having a watch that wakes you up during the night? It was totally stupid. And so I've gone back to a conventional chronograph watch now, which is a nice little Tissot piece. And that's got luminescent, I can't remember the word is, but they've got a white kind of chemical that absorbs light during the day and then continues to emit a bit of light during the night. So I can check my watch in the night now if I ever wake up, and I can just about read the hands of it. It doesn't put any light into my eyes in any meaningful way. And so if I do need to wake up in the night, or I did wake up by accident, I can check the time without blasting my eyes with more white light. Step tracking. This is a big one. Unless you get a pedometer or you use your phone, a smartwatch is the best way to track your daily step count. And if you are quite fanatical about hitting how many daily steps you want to get, whether that's 8, 10, 12, 15,000, it's a really good way to measure it. It's a lot more accurate at measuring steps than it is heart rate variability, but it's still not 100% accurate, but it will give you a pretty good idea of where you're at. Now, one thing I found really annoying about steps is I'd set mine to go for an average of 8,000 steps a day. And with the way that I work at the moment, I basically leave my bedroom, go downstairs, maybe have a drink, have a shower, and I walk upstairs in the other bedroom in my office. And the amount of steps that I get during the day now is very, very low because I'm not walking to the car to go to work, walking around doing foot patrol or standing around in custody, walking backwards and forwards to the printer. I don't do that anymore. I might go to the gym 4 or 5 times a week. And when I'm there, I might do 1,000, 1,500 steps. So I was getting to the end of the day sometimes and I'd be on 2,000 steps. I'm 6,000 steps short, but I went to the gym, I did some cardio on the bike, and I'm still being told I need to do another hour of walking. And whilst the benefits to walking are good, it was just constantly making me think, oh my God, I need to go out and do an hour's walk. And I would happily go out and do a walk, but I don't always want to go for an hour walk. And it was this constant reminder of you need to be doing more steps. So I decided if I just want to go out for a walk sometimes and do 45 minutes, take the dog out, take Chili, and get back, and then go to the gym, and then mill around the house the rest of the day, I'd feel good. But if I look at my watch and it tells me I've only done 6,000 steps, I'm like, oh, I've not done enough steps. I felt good. I went outside, I got some sunlight, I got some vitamin D, walked in nature, got some serotonin from that. Chili had a great time. You know what I mean? Why do I need a watch to tell me, oh, you should have done an extra 20 minutes of walking? It wasn't serving me. And so I decided that from a step function as well, that wasn't something that I needed in my life. Also related to the step tracking, you've got the workout tracking. So you've got this feature on, I had a Coros Pace 2, Coros Pace 3, one of the two. And it had a function on the app on your phone that you could link it to Strava, which is great, right? So that means that every time that you go for a run or a cycle, a swim, a walk, watch logs it, you click save, bang, onto your app, bang, straight onto Strava. But the problem is, I used to go for Zone 2 run, which might be like quite a slow paced, just keep my heart rate about 30 beats per minute, under 180 to stay in this ability to improve my heart rate, but not going fast. Not impressive by anyone's stretch of the imagination. And it go onto Strava, and I'd get 5 or 6 people like my run. And then you feel obliged to go back on their runs and their walks. I'm like, oh, my mate Phil might have done a 1 mile walk with his puppy. And I'm liking it. And this is bollocks. It's some kind of mutual masturbation train where no one's really impressed that you went for a 2 mile walk in 23 minutes or that you went and walked your dog around the park for an hour. But you get suckered into this, like I say, mutually just liking one another's exercise for the sake of it. It just encourages more screen time again on an app that's kind of stupid. If you're going for a run to impress other people, you're probably doing it for the wrong reasons. You should be doing it to improve your running speed, to improve your cardiovascular health, and to just get better at running. If you're doing it for any other reason, I don't think there's any purpose to that. So unless you're breaking records and you've got a high following and you're like hitting decent runs in training that people are, oh my God, that's actually really impressive. No one really cares. So that was another reason why having a smartwatch was just not serving me. It was encouraging stupid, pointless behavior. And again, encouraging more screen time. So yeah, I basically turned off all of the functionality of my smartwatch to the point where it basically became a dumb watch. So I thought, why am I wearing this watch, which has got all this functionality? The battery still only lasts a week, so you have to charge it once a week anyway, when I could just get myself a dumb watch. And when I first decided to make the change, I was like, oh, I'm actually going to miss having a smartwatch. Absolutely not. For me, it was a solution looking for a problem that I never actually had. Yes, if you go running all the time and you need to track your runs, great. If you need to receive important messages from family around health stuff, fine. Anything else, I kind of think it's a bit pointless, and it just encourages everyone to use their phone more often than they should be. So I've now got this nice Tissot watch, really into it. It's got chronograph function, it tells me the date. So if I am working out at the gym for whatever and I'm wearing it there, I can track my rest periods. That gives me the basic information that I need to know. It also looks nice. It's a total winner. It cost a little bit more money, but nothing, only £100 more than the Coros that I was wearing. Will I go back in the foreseeable? Absolutely not for me. It made me feel way worse than it did better. So there we go. That's why I decided to delete my smartwatch. If anyone's in the market for a Coros Pace 3, I haven't actually put it up for sale yet, so drop me a message on Instagram, message with the word watch, and I might sell it to you for a drop-down bargain price. Guys, if you enjoyed this episode, thanks for watching. If you could happily like the video and subscribe to the page so you don't miss the next one. I'll see you guys next week.